Alright, boys, welcome back. I'm gonna try to keep this one as short and as sweet as possible. It's just a quick pros and cons video for Wuthering Waves, just an idea of what's the goods and the bads, and kind of like for anyone who's looking to get into the game, what to expect. I'm gonna be trying to do this video from the point of view of the most filthiest of casuals you'll ever know, right? I'm talking you have a 9 to 6 job, get home, you do your chores, help with dinner, put the kid and the girlfriend or wife or whoever to sleep, and then you come back and play like an hour or two games before going to sleep and doing it all over again. Um, that's not me venting or anything. Uh, yeah, quick preview, TLDR. There's a lot of points. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. The music I have playing is PGR music. So for those who don't know, the people who made Wuthering Waves, Kuro Games, also made another game called Punishing Gray Raven, right? And Punishing Gray Raven, for their music, was known for hard dubstep, EDM music. And honestly, one of my points for the cons is that I feel like Wuthering Waves, their music is just ambiance, right? I really do think they should just take a page from PGR and just fucking blast their eardrums out, right? Just give dubstep and EDM. Fuck it, who cares, right? It's post-apocalyptic. I don't think EDM is that far out of place for that. That's why I have this music playing. But okay, let's get into it. We're gonna start with pros. So this one's gonna be the most obvious. Combat's fun and complex, right? You have your units, you have your forte bar at the bottom, you have little mini games to play. A game really couldn't get more complex with their combat. You have parries, you have dodges. Obviously I have problems and little nitpicks in between that for their combat, but to keep it broad, I do enjoy their combat. It is very fun and complex. Another pro, it is very free to play friendly, right? I'm gonna just show you my mail and show you all the free stuff they've given out ever since launch. It is a long list that will probably keep going on and on, right? Now, I'm not free to play, right? I've spent the battle pass and the monthly pass, right? Does it give you enough to make you a whale? No, not at all, right? But I'd say if you've saved up from the start, you'd probably have 90 pools instead of 105. I feel like that's fair to say. And I haven't used any of my limited banner pools, 45, and then standard banner pools, I'd say I've summoned close to 160 pools. So I'd say that's pretty fair to say that's pretty fair, free to play friendly, considering you also get 2 choices for 5 stars. Another pro I got is movement options. They could always use more, right? You could always use more movement options. There can never be too many. If you get a fucking unicorn for a mount, I'm not gonna say no, right? But you get grapples, you get fucking infernal riders as mount to ride around on. That being said, it doesn't last forever and you get a cooldown, but it's better than nothing, right? Obviously, I have nitpicks within that too. I think the glider could be better, but hey, better than nothing. Shinies. So this is kind of a pro and a con, right? For casuals, right? Hardcore players probably love it, but that being said, I have never found a shiny minus this one, which I'm pretty sure is guaranteed. Which I might make another video on how to get all the guaranteed shinies you can get. That's for the future. As of right now, this is the only shiny I have a month into the game, right? So I do think it's fair to say that I think they should up the rates for shinies. Because as a casual, you are never going to find a shiny, right? But that's just how rare they are, which I think is kind of ridiculous. I do love, that's why I put in the pros, is because I love the idea that shinies exist. I just think the chance to find them is a little crazy, right? So if you don't know, yeah, here's a regular, here's a shiny, just for an idea. Okay, hard in-game bosses is content, right? So as casuals, we're probably not doing the actual content of the in-game hologram bosses and stuff like that. Even a month in, I'm only done difficulty 3 out of 6, right? However, I do like the idea that they even exist, because it's kind of like a goal to go for, right? I think it's important to have a goal while playing, um, especially as a game branded as a hardcore game. Having an in-game boss that feels impossible to beat and makes you want to get stronger is very important, whether you're doing it or not. So next point is developers listens for an idea for anyone who may not know the lore behind Crow Games and Wuthering Waves. At one point after the first closed beta, everyone gave them feedback to say that their story sucked, right? And they rewrote 90% of the story. Is it better? Yeah. Is it good? That's debatable, right? But at least the fact that they just rewrote it is enough to, I think that's enough to say that they listen. And the fact that they keep doing hot fixes to fix the game is enough to say, I think it's pretty fair to say that they listen. Echo farm me as much as you want, right? So that one is a pro for a couple reasons, right? So I know this is for a casuals, pros versus cons. But being able to farm echoes as much as you want, right, comes in on those days off, right, where you want to just sit here and play games and relax. You can just walk around and kill echoes, right? Now, do I do that on my days off? Fuck no, right? I get on and do my dailies and I go and watch a fucking movie and hang out with family. However, I do like the idea that you can farm as many echoes as you want for those days that you have extra time and you actually want to game. Diverse characters and weapon types, right? So we're gonna use Genshin and Honkai Star Rail for an example, right? A lot of the time you get your classic sword characters, right? Very rarely will you get like a pistol character or a gauntlet character, right? Those are actually pretty rare, and I actually like that they're in, right? And you can argue that Yin Lin is a rectifier, right? And she also uses a rectifier. I do like that there's diversity in that Verena uses plants. Yin Lin basically uses whips, right? And I do want them to add even more diversity. I know it'll be harder on us to build the characters if they're more diverse, but I do want them to keep making it more and more diverse. Free 5 stars. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. That's obviously a pro. I'm never going to complain about a free 5-star. Diverse enemies, right? So this is one of the things I put as a pro, right? Kind of leads into echoes, but there is a lot of different enemies you can fight, right? Like Dreamless. That is fucking cool, right? So I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Having diverse enemies helps with the immersion, and it's just more cool and fun to be able to fight different enemies. It gets very boring if you're fighting the same thing over and over again. Good atmosphere, diversity in visuals. So this one's pretty obvious pros. Some people may not like the environment, but you really, I can't see an argument where you come and tell me that this is not fucking beautiful, right? And the fact that you can go anywhere here, yeah, that is a major pro. Co-op. So co-op, I like what they've done with co-op. I think it's a good base. I think it's a good starting point. I do think it could use more work. So for those who don't know, there's a co-op mode. And in this co-op mode, you basically hop into your friend's world, or really whoever you ask to join. You can go around and farm echoes, right? Now, I do think it could be expanded upon, right? Maybe if you can get a house and you can decorate it, right? You can go and hang out with your friends. Maybe you can go on like a little fucking restaurant date. If they add like a boss fight, that'd be fucking cool for like raids. Obstacle courses you can do with friends, stuff like that. I think that would help with the co-op. But I think right now, co-op has definitely a good base and starting point for what it is for launch. So character hits are very satisfying. That's another pro I put. Minus one specific character that I have made my hatred for very known. But even like the other rectifiers, this is pretty satisfying, right? Caging them up, sword slashing, hitting the fucking forte and doing a little dash. Those all feel very satisfying. So I'm still gonna count it as a pro, even though one certain character kind of ruined it for me. Alright, so those are most of my pros. We're gonna get into cons now. So this is one of my big cons. I think I'm not a whale, right? I have a battle pass, a monthly pass. I feel like that's fair to say that I'm not exactly a whale. Um, but I think it's a big problem if you're spending money and it doesn't really do much, right? Specifically, right, if you're spending money and you're whaling, you're going to be getting dupes, right? What does this do for you? It mostly just increases your damage. So what does that do for you? Almost nothing, right? Obviously, it'll make boss fights shorter, right? So you don't have to care about mechanics as much, but you still do got to care about mechanics, right? So I feel like if you're spending a fucking $1,000, that you should be getting $1,000 worth. And I feel like right now, they just don't give enough incentive to whaling / spending money. Now, that probably doesn't matter for most casuals or really anyone that spending money isn't as incentivized. But I just think for the health of the game and for the company to make money right now, I don't think it's enough. So this is one of my big gripes about the game, is the tutorial, right, for characters. The tutorials are very basic, right? They don't go in depth for characters. I wish they had either a advanced, like, in-depth tutorial for characters, or they just put like a fucking, oh, you want an advanced tutorial? Here's a link to YouTube with the fucking encore guide already searched in the search bar, right? But like as of right now, there's no way in game to know which of these attacks can parry, right? I feel like that's something pretty important to know, is which attacks on a character can parry or stuff like that, or what can be animation canceled, things like that. I feel like I wish there was a way in game to find out how that works. No roadmaps or no preview for future units. So I feel like this will solve issues with leaks, because a lot of games like this, in case you don't know, usually games like this hate when people leak, mostly because they give out wrong information. And plus, for a company, it might affect sales. For players, they might leak like spoilers for like story and stuff like that. So I feel like the main reason people look at leaks is to find out what future units do, so they can plan where they use their summons ahead of time, right? So I feel like if they added a roadmap, not even a roadmap for everything, just like a roadmap for characters, or like previews for units like a month or two in advance, that would help a lot. As of right now, Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail obviously have previews for their characters a month in ahead. But I feel like if you do it 2 months ahead, you would really kill leaks just by doing that. And to my knowledge, as of right now, Wuthering Waves script marketing is pretty lacking. So Echo sets, another con of mine. Echo sets don't have enough diversity, right? As of right now, it's basically put the element on that character's element. If it's a sub DS, I know I'm running ice, but you can run energy set and healing set, right? And there's an attack set that no one fucking uses. So I do wish there was more diversity to the Echo sets, because right now Echo builds are pretty one-dimensional, right? Everyone's just going 4-3-3-1-1 or 4-4-1-1-1. And as of right now, that's it. There's nothing else. Like, it'd be cool if they came out with units that use other stats, right? Like maybe, I don't know, defense. I don't know, make builds more diverse instead of everyone just going the same thing. That way people can be more creative, and people can be like, hey dude, look what I built on this character, stuff like that. So echo farming, I put it as a pro and a con, right? Because I feel like echo farming for casuals sucks ass, really. Most casuals day by day isn't going to farm as much as a hardcore player who has no job or responsibilities. And it does feel bad to not go farm, but I also am not going to go farm if I don't feel like it. So story, the only thing I'm going to say about the story is their entry story is pretty bad. The only thing in the beginning of the game for story-wise that I found entertaining was the cutscene where Crownless pops up in your face like he's about to kiss you. I think that was pretty fucking cool, you know, he's walking up to you. But besides that, the story was pretty fucking bad until the end of chapter 5 and 6. Which I feel like is pretty fair to say. Where the fuck am I? Character balancing. So this can be either pro or con depending on who you ask. But I do think their character balancing needs work. Like, I know Encore can do a lot of damage in a perfect situation, but as of right now, in an actual fight, she's kind of ass, which I've made known in basically every single one of my videos. Versus Sanhua, she feels like a 5-star character, but she's a 4-star. So some people will probably love that 4 stars are as good as 5 stars, right? But I do think that some units are obviously better than others. And I just think that the unit balancing in general just needs a lot of work. Here's a big con of mine. Once you start getting to Union level 30, 40, 50, the game stagnates very fucking hard, right? Because you're starting to get decent echoes. At that point, you're just looking for perfect echoes. Your characters are like getting a level 70. You're getting a good amount of your skills leveled up for each character, like their forte skills. And really, you're just waiting to do dailies and waypoints to level up, right? I'm getting a level every other day. Or at worst case scenario, every like 3 to 4 days. And that's very fucking boring. I do wish it's faster. Which to my knowledge, they kind of fixed. Because in the 1.1 update, they're going to add how more ways to get experience by like finding new types of echoes. But as of right now, when I'm making this video, it is very boring and it stagnates very hard. So exploration, I'll be honest, you would think exploration's for casuals. I'm going to argue exploration is for tryhards. If you're a casual, your exploration probably looks like mine. Like this zone I have 24% explored. It's cool the first time you go through, but having to like min-max to 100% for it just feels like a chore, right? So I'm going to put that as a con. Exploration is not it for me. Puzzles are cool, but puzzles are also for 5-year-olds, and as a grown adult, it just feels like a chore. This one's kind of a petty thing for me. All these fucking red indicators on the UI, like all these little red indicators, especially this one down here, the notices, which you just can't get rid of basically because there's always a new notice. That shit just bothers my ADHD, man. It actually just tilts me. Like, I wish there was a way I could just click through, right? But this event, I swear through, I've clicked through a billion times. Cool, is it gone now? It is gone now, but I feel like in an hour, another one will probably pop up. Okay, my next con, game sucks ass on mobile. I don't think I don't need to say anything more about that. Either your phone lags too much because it can't handle it, or it's the buttons are too small to where your thumbs can't press it because I'm a grown-ass man, or there's so much shit happening that it's hard to move the camera fast enough to see what's happening. Okay, my next con, right? This one's also another petty one. Unit skills read like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards. What is that? I feel like there has to be a better way to write this. It's the same complaints Yu-Gi-Oh players have heard for years. There has to be a better way to fucking write this. This is way too much. No casual is going to read this. Camera targeting, right? So if you're in combat, I'm not going to bother to go try to show it to you now. You hit this middle mouse button right down here, and it'll lock onto the target. But instead of having the camera like up like this, like a nice up looking down angle so you can see attacks coming at you, when you lock in, the camera kind of does this. Like puts you into the ground or like right here at most, and it's very hard to see some units attacks when it's like this. So I just wish they did like a up from the like up looking down angle instead. One of my points I mentioned at the beginning, music is mid, just use PGR music please. So this one's a bigger gripe of mine. I know a lot of people like this. I feel like so my biggest gripe about this one, it comes from Honkai Star Rail, another game that's made by Hoyoverse, who made Genshin Impact. What killed Honkai Star Rail and made me quit Honkai Star Rail was Simulated Universe, which is what this game mode is basically a ripoff of. In that, in Honkai Star Rail, you had to farm this like all the time because you can get gear from it. Thank God for Wuthering Waves, it's not as important, right? The rewards aren't as necessary, and it's more like a one-time thing. But the PTSD from Honkai Star Rail and seeing this made me freak out a little bit. And I got very scared that this was in the game. Which is just like a personal thing, right? I don't want to be farming this every week, so I'm glad that it's kind of like a one-time reward thing. Last two notes, right? This is me asking Kuro, please make skins in the game. I know you've done skins before for your other game, PGR, so please bring skins over to this game. And my other thing is crossover characters. So I know in PGR they had characters from other IPs and genres all the time. They had Nier Automata and stuff. I don't know if that's actually true, but I know they've done crossovers. Crossover characters in this game would go so fucking hard. Please. I want Dante. That would be fucking cool. Instead of having a crossover Sephiroth, just give me fucking Dante. That's it, boys. Thanks for watching. And if you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe.